COVID lockdowns have been going on for nearly a year now at this point, and I think it's safe to assume most of us are at least used to the new rules, even if we don't like them. And if you've been paying attention recently, you'll also notice the lockdowns have definitely been getting more strict the past couple weeks. There's a lot of speculation that there's a second wave coming of the virus, so they're increasing lockdowns, they're closing down things again. Everything's going back to kind of how it was when it was panic mode immediately as the virus was first found out. And honestly, the second wave has actually, it seems like it's actually hitting pretty hard just purely based on cases. There seems to clearly be an increase in what's going on. You can't really miss it, the amount of cases and how rapidly they've been increasing, especially because it kind of was slowing down for a long time. But in some parts of America, they're handling the lockdown just a little too crazy in my opinion. And honestly, it's just a little stupid. But let's talk about this. So, recently in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico, there was an article published talking about the new rules that the governor passed, the new Mexican government passed. And along with the, typical lockdown, where they close down the bars, they close down, the non-essential businesses, basically, they're also adding a new layer. In New Mexico, they're now putting grocery stores on the list of businesses affected by lockdowns. For some reason, basically, New Mexico is saying that grocery stores are, a way that the virus can spread. That through the grocery store, which a lot of people go to, it can spread pretty heavily. They cut down the maximum occupancy to 25% of the normal amount. Essentially, they have a rule that when it comes to new cases, and it's called rapid responses. Basically, how rapid responses works in this term is when a grocery store has 4 employees get infected with COVID in a 2-week period, the grocery store is mandated by law to shut down for 2 weeks. Now, just upon just instantly hearing that, you might think, oh, well, whatever, that's not really that big a deal. Okay, they shut it down for 2 weeks. Obviously there's people getting COVID there, so whatever, it's not a big deal, right? But this is actually a huge problem, and honestly, sometimes I don't realize how people don't think about how this actually increases the rate at which COVID is spread. And the reason it increases the rate it's spread is because a grocery store isn't something like a bar, for example. They can get away, anyone can get away with shutting down a bar, because if you were planning on going to a bar and it's shut down, you can just say, whatever, I'll pass on the bar today, just pick up some alcohol, whatever, no reason, I don't need to go out. A grocery store, however, it's not really an option. You can't just pass on going to the grocery store because it's deemed an essential business for a reason. That's where you get your food. A huge problem with this. Okay, let's say you live in Albuquerque. Let's say you live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, okay? And there's a Walmart down the street from you, right? And it's a pretty big Walmart. So in a 2-week period, you have 4 people at that Walmart get infected with COVID, and now the Walmart's forced to shut down for 2 weeks. If at any time during those 2 weeks you need to go get food because, you're a human who eats and consumes food, you can't go to that local Walmart anymore. Instead, you have to travel to another Walmart that's at a totally different location. And this isn't just inconvenient, it's basically just a pathway to make the entire state just super spreaders, because now you're bringing people from all over different counties and just mushing them together into the grocery stores and just letting everyone just spread the germs that they're all bringing from their different locations all together. What are you doing? And this is something I've never really quite understood from COVID lockdowns. I feel like they get it backwards on how it's supposed to go. Like, for example, like a hospital. They cut down their entrances to where there's only one single entrance that people can enter and exit out of. And it's not just hospitals, it's everywhere. Even grocery stores, everything does it. And I've always been curious as to why, because what you're doing when you cut everything down to just one entrance and exit is every single person who goes in and out of that grocery store is all breathing the same air, they're all passing the same pathway, they're all in that same zone. If you have multiple entrances and exits, there's like less of a chance that you're going to cross someone with COVID's path, because let's say you instead of everyone going through the same entrance, you could go through the other entrance that happens to be, no one's with COVID has gone through it, and you'd be protected. Whereas if everyone's going through the same one, you're guaranteed if someone had COVID, you'd be passing that same area that they're passing, the general area. And so, they preach about social distancing, right? And then they force you into the same, the same entrance and exit that everyone else is going in. And I don't think that fixes anything. If you want to have, like, for example, like even tables, and nowhere's perfect about cleaning their tables. Like sometimes they'll just have the tables out and they won't come and sanitize it after every single use. So, if there's like 2 tables that are open versus like 10, if someone with COVID sits at one of those tables, now you have a 50-50 chance of sitting at the same table that that person with COVID just sat at, versus if someone with COVID sits at a table and there's 10 tables, you only have a 10% chance of sitting at the same table that that person with COVID just sat at. So you're increasing the chances that COVID's being spread when you're decreasing the table size and like not like properly cleaning, and nowhere properly cleans from what I've seen. I've seen plenty of times that someone will just get up and no one will go wipe the table off. So it's just the social distancing guidelines is really just limiting the area that people have to work with and increasing the chance that everyone is staying confined in that limited area and contracting the virus. And so the same exact thing applies to this grocery store scenario. The problem comes in that, when you close down a bar, you are decreasing the amount of people who are going to the bar because it's not really an essential thing. People don't have to go to the bar. But when you close down grocery stores, less people are not going to go to the grocery store. You're not dissuading people to go somewhere else. They still have to go to the grocery store. They have to go shopping. So it's just closing down a grocery store because a couple of employees there contracted COVID. You're just confining more people into less areas and just basically causing super spread. And it's even worse because realistically, 4 employees getting COVID within 2 weeks is really not that out of the ordinary. It's actually completely plausible. I know people who have worked in retail, and they've told me, they get a notification whenever like someone is infected, and I've seen it myself. People get infected at grocery stores pretty often. So 4 COVID cases within 2 weeks is really not even that out of the ordinary, especially with the argument that cases are on the rise. But this even sucks just for like local economics. Like, for example, go back to your local Walmart. You're no longer supporting that and providing to your local economy. Now you're transferring over to some other location, and who even knows if you're going to get in it, because who knows how many other Walmarts are closed down, how many other people from different counties are going to that location you're going to. If it's only at 25% occupancy, chances are you might not even get in. You could be waiting in line for a long time before you even get a chance to go grocery shopping. And on top of this, that means that all of the people working at that Walmart are all out of a job for 2 weeks. That's an entire paycheck for that whole store and everyone who's working there. It's completely economically unsound, and on top of that, it doesn't even fix it. It's an essential business. This isn't something you can just shut down and people will just waver off going grocery shopping, what they need to eat. And like also this just encourages panic buying. This is just the same exact way as it was before. People are going to go into the store, panic buy things in bulk because they're afraid that their local store is going to shut down, and then it's just the same exact problem we ran into at the very beginning, where shelves are out of stock and everything was just handled horribly, and it's just not a good idea nor a good execution. And to be honest, sometimes to me this just seems like a big power grab. Like it just seems like a real, I don't know, it's an abuse of power, and abuse of power is a real thing. It's a historical thing. People have always done it. And to me, I don't know, just closing down the grocery store, it seems like a power grab to me. I mean, maybe I'm just stupid too. It's totally possible. If you guys think I'm just a total idiot, tell me why I'm wrong in the comments, feel free, but I don't think that this makes any sense. So I don't know, man, this is all just crazy to me, but let me know what you guys think. Go ahead, type in the comments, what's your guys' opinion on this, and Don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're new around here, you can subscribe. It's totally free. You can change your mind later. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, man. I don't know. It's definitely it's a scary story. It's a scary story. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and peace out.